Welcome, everyone. This is Brother Doug with my sister Shoshana and our brother Daoud, and we are doing a study tonight called The Book of Enoch Proves Flat Earth Cosmology. So we are going to be using only the extra scriptural book of Enoch in this portion. We will be using, the quote unquote known as the canon in the part two study. So right now we're going to be using the book of Enoch, and we're going to be starting in the book of Enoch chapter 72, and I will allow my sister Shoshana to start us off, and I will pick up the reading after her. So let me just mute myself. We're at the book of Enoch, chapter 72. I'm going to put my screen share on for the listeners and viewers to follow along with us. Take it away, Sister Shoshana.
Okay, Paul wanted to read it for me, but I think I'll let him stay out of the picture. This is called the Book of the Courses of the Heavenly Luminaries, chapter 72, according to R.H. Charles. The Book of the Courses of the Luminaries of the Heaven, the relations of each according to their classes, their dominion, and their seasons according to their names and places of origin, and according to their months, which Uriel, the Kadash Malak, who was with me, who is their guide, showed me. And he showed me all their laws exactly as they are, and how it is with regard to all the years of the world and unto eternity, till the new creation is accomplished, which dureth till eternity. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary of the sun has its rising in the eastern portals of the heaven, and its setting in the western portals of the heaven. And I saw 6 portals in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets, and the moon rises and sets in those portals, and the leaders of the stars, and those whom they lead, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all following each other in accurately corresponding order. Also many windows to the right and left of these portals. And first there goes forth that great luminary called the sun, and his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes to the appropriate, that portal that shines in the face of the heaven. In this way, he rises in the first month in the great portal, which is the 4th, those 6 portals in the east. And in the 4th portal, from which the sun rises in the first month, are 12 window openings, from which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season. When the sun rises in the heavens, he comes forth through that 4th portal 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the 4th portal in the west of the heaven. And during this period the day becomes daily longer, and the night nightly shorter, to the 30th morning. On that day the day is longer than the night by a 9th part, and the day amounts exactly to 10 parts and night to 8 parts. And the sun rises from that fourth portal, and sets in the fourth, and returns to the fifth portal of the east 30 mornings, and rises from it, and sets in the fifth portal. And when the day becomes longer by 2 parts, and amounts to 11 parts, and the night becomes shorter, and amounts to 7 parts, and it returns to the east, and enters into the sixth portal, and rises and sets in the sixth portal 1 and 30 mornings on account of its sign. On that day, the day becomes longer than the night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, and the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. Go ahead, Doug. We're in verse 15.
All right, so I'll take over here. And the sun mounts to make the day shorter and the night longer. The sun returns to the east and enters into the sixth portal, and rises from it, and goes down 30 mornings. And when 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1 part and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. And the sun goes forth from that sixth portal in the west, goes to the east, and rises in the fifth portal for 30 mornings, and goes down in the west again in the fifth western portal. On that day, the day decreases by 2 parts and amounts to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun goes forth from that fifth portal and goes down in the fifth portal of the west, and rises in the fourth portal for 31 mornings on account of its sign. It goes down in the west. On that day, the day is equalized with the night. The night amounts to 9 parts, the day to 9 parts. And the sun rises from that portal and goes down in the west and returns to the east, and rises 30 mornings in the third portal, goes down in the west in the third portal. On that day, the night becomes longer than the day, and the night becomes longer than the night, and day shorter than day till the 30th morning. And the night amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the day to 8 parts. The sun rises from that third portal and goes down in the third portal in the west, and returns to the east, and for 30 mornings rises in the second. And I'm at verse 23 still. At the 32nd, it rises in the second portal in the east, in the same way goes down in the second portal in the west of the heavens. And on that day, the night amounts to 11 parts, and the day to 7 parts. The sun rises on that day from that second portal and goes down in the west, the second portal, and returns to the east in the first portal, down in the first portal in the west of the heavens. And on that day, the night becomes longer, amounts to double the day, and the night amounts exactly to 12 parts, and the day to 6. And the sun has traversed the divisions of its orbit. Now, that's the key verse here. This is why we're reading this chapter, is because it's talking about the sun and the moon moving, but you see no verse in this chapter of Enoch talking about the earth moving. So, if anything, the earth is geocentric according to the book of Enoch, what we're reading right now in this chapter. And it keeps saying the sun is rising and setting, and it's going into portals. Now, that has to mean is that it's somewhere in our atmosphere. It has to be literally in our earth that the sun and the moon are located. They're actually inside or outside our atmosphere, and it's part of our planet. So it's not millions and millions of miles away. So I wanted to point that out. And the sun has traversed the divisions of its orbit and turns again on those divisions of its orbit and enters that portal 30 mornings and goes down also in the west opposite to it. And on that night, the night has decreased in length by a ninth part, and the night has become 11 parts, and day 7 parts. And the sun has returned and entered into the second portal in the east, and returns on those divisions of its orbit to 30 mornings, rising and going down. And on that day, the night decreases in length, and the night amounts to 10 parts, and the day to 8. And on that day, the sun rises from that portal and goes down in the west, and returns to the east, and rises in the third portal for 31 mornings, and goes down in the west of the heavens. On that day, the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as to its days, 364. And the length of the day and of the night, and the shortness of the day and of the night arise. Through the course of the sun they are separated. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer, and its course nightly shorter. And this is the law in the course of the sun, and its return as often as he returns 60 times, and rises the great light, which is named the sun forever and ever. And that which rises is the great light, and is so named according to its appearance, according as Yahuwah commanded. As he rises, so he goes down, and does not decrease, and does not rest, but runs day and night, and its light is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon, but as regards size, they are both equal. That's a key part of the last verse of that chapter, audience, because that means if they're equal in size, when you see, when science, so-called scientists will say, oh, the moon needs its light from the sun. No, it doesn't, because the moon and the sun are equal in size, and the moon is the lighter light, which you can read for yourselves in the book of Genesis, which we'll be talking about in the second part of this study, in the next part. But you can read right here, it says the greater light is the sun. The sun has his own light, the moon has its own light. It's equal, they're equal in size. So I wanted to make that I wanted to point that out so you know for a fact the moon does not need the sun for light. Number 2, the sun has orbits, okay? It's not stationary. The heliocentric model needs the sun to be stationary. That is basically the whole foundation of the heliocentric universe. You're taught in school. The sun is stationary, the earth and the moon revolve around the sun. All the planets revolve around the sun. Well, that cannot work with what Enoch is telling us. The book of Enoch's literally saying that the sun orbits, and basically orbits within the portals that would be in our clouds, our atmosphere. From the spiritual realm, there's portals that come into our realm, the physical realm. And the sun is going in and out of these portals, rising and setting, moving. So I just wanted to make that very clear. So that's all I wanted to say.
I'd like to add that chapter 78 of Enoch tells us in verse 3, these are the 2 great luminaries, which also shows us that both give their light. The sun gives its light and the moon gives its light. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. They are both equal. In the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light which are added to it more than to the moon, and in definite measures it is transferred. It is, what does that say? It is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. Okay, there's a typo here in this, but what does yours say, Doug?
pretty much says similar in verse 4 to 5. It says, in the circumference of the sun there are 7 portions of light which are
Mm-hmm.
added to it more than the moon. So the sun is 7 times brighter, basically, and in
Yeah.
definite measures it's transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. And they go down and enter the portals of the west. So it's saying that they're both going down. They're both
Yeah.
setting, entering into the portal of the west, like the western sky, the western
Yeah.
heavens, and making their revolution to the north. So they're not just setting, they're going to the north, going back up again.
They're going north to south. They'll go north and then turn around and come south.
So through the eastern portals on the face of the heavens. So it literally says, and come forth through the eastern portal. So it goes north, and then it goes to the eastern portal.
And come back south.
So basically the face of the sky, or the face of the first heavens, is where it's going through, and on the east. So it's giving you a description of how they're moving, how the rotations are going with the sun and the moon, basically. And so showing that the main thing we want to point out here is the earth is stationary, according to Enoch, and the sun and the moon have rotations within the earth. They're not separate from the earth. They're actually near our atmosphere, they're either right outside our atmosphere or inside our atmosphere, because they're literally within earth, circling around the earth. They're literally going north, south, east, west into these portals that go into our atmosphere. So I wanted to make that pretty clear, that that's the cosmology that flat earth is teaching. I mean, that on the book of Enoch is showing us that flat earth is true, because that's what it's saying that for the earth to be stationary, it has to, and for the earth to be stationary, obviously it's not hanging on nothing either. So that's just something to think about too. The earth is not moving at all. It has to be supported by something. So
the fact that the earth doesn't move is supported by the canonized scripture.
yeah. So I also want to end this portion we have with Enoch chapter 18, 1 to 12. This is the last portion of this Enoch study of the flat earth. So we're going to go to chapter 18 here, and after this we'll make some comments and stuff, and then we'll start the part 2 after chapter 18 of Enoch. All right, so chapter 18 starts off by saying, I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation, the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. So there's corners of the earth. There's 4 winds. There's corners. There's a cornerstone. I saw the 4 winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of the heaven and have their station between the heavens and earth. These are the pillars of the heavens. So there's pillars in the heavens. Now think about that for a second. You got a firmament in the skies. You got pillars in the heavens. So just kind of picture that in your head. I saw the winds of the heavens which turn and bring the circumference of the sun, and all the stars to their going down, to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the Malachim, which in the English translations translate angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament, again the term firmament, of the heavens above, and I proceeded and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south, And as for those towards the east, one was of colored stone, and one of pearl, one of jacinth, and those towards the south of red stone. So basically what this is describing in verses 6 and 7, above the firmament, which is like the second heaven, the third heaven, which is describing right now, is Yahuwah's throne room, describing his throne. So that's why it's talking about all these different pearls and stones. Because you can read in the canon supports this also, the book of Revelations, all that, but we'll be getting into that in the part 2. So we're in verse 7 now. And as for those towards the east, one was of colored stone, and one of pearl, and one of jacinth, and those towards the south of red stone. But the middle one reached to the heavens like the throne of the Elohim of, okay. Yeah, they kind of did a typo here on verse 8, the way they worded it after it goes to the next page. Like the throne of Yahuwah of alabaster, and summit of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire, and beyond these mountains is a region, the end of the great earth. There the heavens were completed. And I saw a deep abyss, so now it's going under the earth. The bottomless pit, deep abyss, with the columns of fire of the heavens, and among them I saw the columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth, and beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heavens above, and no firmly founded earth beneath. Beneath it there was no water upon it, no birds, but it was a waste and a horrible place. Possibly talking about Sheol that's listed in our scriptures. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains, and to me, when I inquired regarding them, the Malachim said, this place is the end of the heavens and earth. This has become a prison for the stars. So we would know this where the Greeks kind of twist this. They call this the place of Hades or hell. And so this is what this is describing right now. It says it's become a prison for the stars and the heavenly armies. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of Yahuwah in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. Whoa. Something for us to think about in the future. And he was angry with them and bound them till the time when their guilt shall be completely ended for 10,000 years. So, this last one that we just referenced, Enoch chapter 18, to sum it all up, gives you basically almost all the cosmology of the earth in like one chapter. It gives you literally the foundations. It gives you the 4 winds, the pillars of the heavens, the firmament, Sheol underneath, Yahuwah's throne in the third heavens. I mean, chapter 18 kind of gives you like a physical description of basically the whole earth. So that's why I chose to use Enoch chapter 18 to finish us off. And I'm just going to let my sister Shoshana or any one of, my brother Daoud, if he wants to add anything. So let me just mute myself.
Okay, Doug. I think what I would like to do is take a short break, and then we're going to show a short video that Rob Skiba created showing the model of the flat earth with the 4 corners and the firmament, showing exactly how it would look. And he even has a footstool showing how it is so like a footstool for Yahuwah.
All right, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to find that video, and we're going to put it on share screen for you guys so you guys can kind of get a visual of what we just read. So we'll be right back. To be continued. All right, everyone, we're back, and we're going to show you some two short little clips that we have from YouTube to kind of give you an idea of what the domed, kind of like you could think of it as a snow globe, the way our Earth actually looks in reality. So we're going to give you a little visual here. I'm going to put it on the share screen here from YouTube. This is Rob Skiba. He's a fellow brother of ours in the faith, and we're going to share a little bit of his videos here. So this is called Yahuwah's Terrarium. And as you can see, he's got the dome, you got the 4 pillars, and then you got, obviously, he's comparing it to a footstool here. So let me just rewind it a tiny bit, and that's the first image you get.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing, just kind of winging it here, just kind of thinking out loud. But something like this would certainly allow for the earth to remain firm on its pillars, but still have the ability to shake it up from time to time as needed. With the floor of heaven and containing walls removed, we see the earth standing in the water and out of the water, as Peter described, set atop pillars, firm and unmovable. Again, this is all speculation, but it is at least putting a visual together for me of the things I've been reading in the canonized and biblically endorsed extra-biblical texts. One thing is certain, though. The book of Enoch is certainly a slam dunk for the enclosed world flat earthers. I mean, you can't get around it as you're reading through the book of Enoch. That's what you end up with. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool.
Sorry about that. Our brother Rob sometimes uses LORD, GOD to kind of witness to his Christian audience. So, but the verse he's quoting from is, the earth is my, thus says Yahuwah, the earth is my footstool. What would be the house that you can build for me? So I'm going to fast forward a little bit so we can kind of skip through that.
5:35, but I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's.
Do not swear by heaven or by earth, for it is Yahuwah's throne. And that is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 1. And we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
Essentially a snow globe, with the still flat circular earth set on pillars under a dome within which the sun, moon, and stars were placed on day 4 of creation. But the question I'm now wondering about is, are there more of these types of systems out there? This scripture popped into my head, John 14:2, where Jesus says, in my Father's house are many mansions.
Where Yahusha said, and again, people that are new to the set apart names, just bear with me here. I'm using our brother Rob Skiba's video, and he's trying to reach out to a Christian audience. So unfortunately, he's using those type of names, which we do not agree with using for any reason. But again, he's just showing, the reason we're showing this video is because Rob Skiba presented this terrarium, and this is the most realistic in our belief, what literally Enoch is telling us what the earth looks like. Okay, you got the 4 pillars, you got the footstool being compared to what the terrarium looks like, literally looks exactly the same except for the dome, the firmament right here. So again, this is why we're using this video, and we're going to skip ahead very quickly. This is pretty much the end of it. There's not much left on that video, so we're going to go to the next one. So this video is our brother Rob Skiba again. He's going to be showing in this video. Basically, we're using this as a visual to explain to y'all what the rising and the settings of the sun and the moon look like on the flat earth. So here we go. Again, so you see the sun and the moon circling around basically the top in the clouds in the sky, and we're below. So as you see, it keeps winding down, circular, and it looks like it's setting. It's almost going down. They're almost going down. They're going closer to our atmosphere almost. So it looks like it's going straight down. And that's probably where we get the idea of the word setting, meaning to go straight down. So when we think of sunset, we're thinking of, horizontally going up and down, rising and setting. But it's actually going circular. It's going horizontal. But it just, to our eyes from far away, it looks like it's going straight down when it sets. So that's the best visual I can give you guys. Hopefully that helps you guys out. As you can see, it shows you the rotations of the sun and the moon. Now the sun is getting closer to the middle of the heavens, and the moon's going outer, rotating on the outside of the clouds. So that kind of gives you an idea here. And then you see at the point where the sun and the moon are like right beside one another, and the sun's in front of the moon. So hopefully that gives you guys a really good visual. So that's pretty much all we have to show you and to end this study for today. Hopefully this helped you guys, and in end, hopefully, Yahuwah used us as vessels to show you guys the truth, to show you guys that we've all been lied to. This is the first part of us exposing the globe lie and showing you guys that the extra scriptural book of Enoch definitely proves, like our brother in the faith, Rob Skiba, just said, it, without a shadow of a doubt, proves that the earth is flat. It cannot be a globe. If you take Enoch literally, it cannot be a globe. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us, and have a great rest of your Shabbat. Stay tuned. We are going to do a part 2 shortly. This is Brother Doug signing off, and I'll let my sister Shoshana say any last words that she wants to say to you guys.
Well, thank you, Rob Skiba. Shalom.
Shalom.